Hi, social studies people. So sorry that I wasn't able to make this video on Sunday. I tried many times and Zoom and YouTube weren't connecting in. And so I just wanted to make sure I hopped on and made a couple-minute video because I know some people get instructions better from hearing it audio. I do see that some of you already started working on the work, so thank you, good job. And a reminder to you that your assignments are due on the Sunday. So this assignment I'm going to walk you through here is due this coming up Sunday night. And make sure you just submit it on Google Classroom. All right, so let's take a look at it. While I'm pulling it up, if you have any questions, I have office hours Tuesdays and Thursdays on this same Zoom link from 9:30 to 10. So please feel free to hop in there or to email me. All right, so you'll see we're in a new week now. So we're in April 20th through the 24th. And so this is the assignment, before and after analyzing turning points. And I put on there my objectives and my goals to be very clear about where we're heading with this unit. So I'm just going to walk through that really quickly with you. So before and after, we're looking at turning points in history, since we're living in a current event of a turning point in history. And my goals for this lesson are for you to study historical events, to view how news is actually recorded. I want you to also analyze important historical events to understand how society adapts and responds, to emphasize with others from the past in order to increase awareness and emotional connection to humanity. So we're always practicing empathizing at Compass, yeah? And practicing critical thinking, being objective in your analysis of news, and also practicing online research skills. So to put it in context, last week then we studied how is the American government and people responding to our current life-changing news event. And clearly, currently what we're in is this COVID-19 pandemic. This week then, what I want us to look at is how people's lives changed as a direct result of life-changing news events from the past. So this intensive is called a historical inquiry, meaning how do we know what we know in history, and looking at current events. And if you're wondering why I'm looking at news headline stories from 50 years, it's because oftentimes in history, if you look at the past 50 to 100 years, they call it the modern era. So anything within that realm is considered to continue to impact where you're living today. So they still call it a current event. So that's an explanation for that. Next week then, where we're heading is we're going to move into you answering this big question. How is your life changing as a direct result of our current news, the COVID-19 pandemic? So those are my 3 weeks interweaving with each other. So the activity is to look at these 11 front newspaper articles from the last 50 years that shaped our world, and I selected them as top key events that marked a time when the world changed somehow. So the world was one way. This action happened, the world becomes another way. And so what you're going to do is carefully look at each of the front page articles, really get a sense of what's happening, try to find the date on it. And then you're going to take that concept and you're going to go online and do an online research activity. I also mentioned here you might want to talk to your parents or grandparents or somebody who's older than you, because my guess is most of them have lived through many of these and they'll remember how much life has changed. So for example, here's the first one, the day that Oklahoma bombings took place, which we just looked at. The event was 25 years ago, I think on Sunday. This past Sunday. So it happened 25 years ago. I remember this as a flashbulb moment in my life, and especially what they found out. So here's that front page paper, City Struggles with Shock of the Deadly Bombing. They're taking a look at many small children were killed in the daycare that was within the Oklahoma City building. And I'm not asking you to read this. I'm asking you to just get a sense by looking at the picture and then go and research what happened. What was the Oklahoma City bombing? Who did they end up finding out who did it? And does that surprise you? And how did that change the world? It gave you the date right there for it. So for all of the questions, you're going to look for these, which is what I was just saying. You're going to summarize it: where, when, who, why is it significant, how did the event change history, and then how does that event maybe still continue to affect our lives today. You'll have to do some more empathy work and do some thinking about that. Here's genetic coding of human life is correct by scientists. I remember where I was when I learned about that. Again, you're gonna look up the same questions and answer those. Okay, and then this is, I chose this one. This is Nixon imposing heating oil rationing because it was actually the oil crisis of 1973, but they were rationing gasoline. Some people weren't able to get gas, so people were having fights with gas. The police had to come. Because of the shortage of gasoline, there was also a shortage of toilet paper, just so that you know. So it's not a new thing of people hoarding and rationing in America. And what did the oil crisis of 1973 have to do with that? All right, and you're gonna just scroll on down and look through all of these different headlines that I've provided for you. And that's the assignment. I hope that you learn some deep things and that you are able to make some good connections. At the very end, I want you to find any front page article about any event of your choice. So you can think that through and find out. If you're like, I don't know, then just go to Google and type in top 50 events in the past 50 years, or ask a parent to look at your work here and say, what's missing? What would you put on? There's many, 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 many more. All right. And we're done. So you all take care and have a great week. I miss you. Bye.